A withered hand stretched forth in faith becomes whole in an instant. Modern neuroscience reveals the brain's incredible power to rewire dead nerves and regenerate lost function. But can science truly explain the miracle Jesus performed in the synagogue? Or does divine healing transcend our understanding of neural regeneration? From the moment God breathed life into Adam, the human nervous system became a masterpiece of divine engineering that reflects the Creator's infinite intelligence. The intricate network of 86 billion neurons, each forming thousands of synaptic connections, creates a communication system more complex than any human technology, a testament to God's creative power embedded within our very flesh. When we examine the nervous system through the lens of divine creation, we discover that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize and form new neural pathways, was not an evolutionary accident but an intentional design feature. God created the nervous system with built-in redundancy, adaptive capacity, and regenerative potential that allows for healing and restoration even after severe damage. The peripheral nervous system, which controls our limbs and extremities, demonstrates God's wisdom in creating multiple pathways for neural communication. Motor neurons extend from the spinal cord to muscles through elaborate branching networks, while sensory neurons carry information back to the brain. This bidirectional communication system enables the precise control needed for complex movements and the feedback necessary for learning and adaptation. Consider the miracle of nerve regeneration that occurs naturally in the peripheral nervous system. Unlike the central nervous system, peripheral nerves can regrow at rates up to 1 millimeter per day when damaged. Schwann cells create guiding tubes for regenerating axons, while growth factors signal the direction and speed of healing. This remarkable regenerative capacity points to a creator who designed the body for restoration rather than permanent disability. The development of the nervous system in embryogenesis reveals divine precision beyond human comprehension. Neural tube formation, guided by molecular signals and genetic programs, creates the foundation for all neurological function. The migration of billions of neurons to their precise destinations, the formation of specific synaptic connections, and the pruning of unnecessary pathways all occur with mathematical precision that speaks of intelligent design. Modern neuroscience has discovered that the brain maintains its capacity for neuroplasticity throughout life, constantly forming new connections and adapting to changing circumstances. This lifelong adaptability reflects God's intention for human beings to grow, learn, and overcome challenges. The same divine power that initially formed the nervous system continues to enable its ongoing transformation and healing. The scriptures contain numerous accounts of neurological healing that demonstrate God's power over the human nervous system, each miracle revealing both divine compassion and mastery over the biological systems He created. These healings provide a template for understanding how God works through natural processes while transcending their normal limitations. The man with the withered hand represents a specific type of neurological condition, likely involving nerve damage, muscle atrophy, or developmental abnormalities that rendered his hand functionally useless. The Greek term withered suggests not just weakness, but complete loss of normal structure and function, indicating severe neurological or muscular impairment that would have been considered permanent by ancient medical understanding. Jesus' command to stretch forth your hand required the man to attempt an action that had been impossible, demonstrating the faith-science connection in divine healing. The instant restoration involved not just muscle regeneration, but the complete reconstruction of neural pathways, restoration of motor control, rebuilding of atrophied tissues, and reestablishment of sensory feedback, a multi-system miracle that encompasses the full spectrum of neurological function. The healing of the paralytic lowered through the roof provides another example of instantaneous neurological restoration. Paralysis often involves spinal cord damage that interrupts communication between the brain and peripheral nervous system. The man's immediate ability to walk required not just spinal cord healing, but the restoration of muscle memory, balance systems, and coordinated movement patterns that take months to develop naturally. Peter's mother-in-law's fever healing demonstrates God's power over neurological symptoms associated with illness. High fevers can cause delirium, confusion, and neurological dysfunction. Her immediate restoration to normal cognitive function and physical strength shows divine healing operating at the cellular level to restore proper neurological homeostasis. The centurion's servant, healed at a distance, reveals that divine neurological healing transcends physical proximity and operates beyond normal electromagnetic or biochemical mechanisms. This remote healing demonstrates that God's power over the nervous system operates through spiritual rather than purely physical pathways, suggesting that divine healing accesses the fundamental information patterns that govern biological systems. These biblical healings establish a pattern. God's power works through natural, biological systems while transcending their normal limitations, achieving in moments what natural healing processes might accomplish over months or years, and addressing not just symptoms but the underlying causes of neurological dysfunction. The laws governing neuroplasticity and nerve regeneration are not random biological processes, but precise expressions of divine intelligence embedded within creation itself. These mechanisms reveal how God designed the nervous system to heal and adapt, providing the natural foundation through which supernatural healing can manifest with even greater power and speed. Neuroplasticity operates through several key mechanisms that reflect divine wisdom. Synaptic plasticity allows connections between neurons to strengthen or weaken, based on activity patterns, enabling learning and memory formation. Structural plasticity involves the growth of new neural branches and the formation of entirely new synaptic connections. Functional plasticity enables undamaged brain regions to assume functions previously performed by damaged areas. The brain's capacity for reorganization following injury demonstrates God's foresight in designing redundant systems and alternative pathways. Following stroke or trauma, the brain can reroute functions around damaged areas, recruiting nearby regions or even opposite hemispheres to restore lost capabilities. This remarkable adaptability reflects the image of God in human beings, our capacity to overcome limitations and adapt to changing circumstances. Neurotrophic factors, proteins that promote neural growth and survival, operate like molecular messengers carrying instructions for healing and regeneration. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, nerve growth factor, and other signaling molecules guide the precise formation of new neural connections. These biochemical systems reflect divine programming embedded at the molecular level, directing healing processes with algorithmic precision. The role of stem cells in neural regeneration reveals God's design for renewal and restoration built into the nervous system itself. Neural stem cells in the adult brain continue producing new neurons throughout life, particularly in regions associated with learning and memory. This ongoing neurogenesis demonstrates that the brain was designed not for static function, but for continuous renewal and growth. The phenomenon of cross-modal plasticity, where one sensory system can adopt functions from another, reveals the unified design of the nervous system. Blind individuals develop enhanced auditory processing in visual cortex regions, while deaf individuals show increased visual processing in auditory areas. This functional flexibility demonstrates that God designed the brain as an integrated system capable of remarkable adaptation. Physical therapy and rehabilitation work by harnessing these natural neuroplasticity mechanisms, using repetitive practice and targeted stimulation to guide the formation of new neural pathways. The success of these interventions proves that the nervous system was designed for healing and restoration, providing the biological foundation that God can supernaturally accelerate in miraculous healing. The specific case of the man with the withered hand provides a detailed study of how divine power operates through neurological systems to produce instantaneous healing that transcends natural regeneration timelines. This miracle encompasses multiple aspects of neurological restoration that normally require months or years to accomplish through natural healing processes. The withered condition likely involved multiple neurological deficits: motor neuron damage preventing voluntary muscle contraction, sensory nerve impairment eliminating feedback from the hand, autonomic dysfunction disrupting blood flow and tissue maintenance, and possible central nervous system involvement affecting motor planning and coordination. The complexity of these interconnected systems makes natural recovery extremely difficult and often impossible. Jesus' command to stretch forth your hand required the man to activate neural pathways that had been non-functional, possibly for years. This simple instruction demanded the instantaneous restoration of motor cortex function, spinal cord signal transmission, peripheral nerve conduction, neuromuscular junction activity, and muscle fiber contractility. The coordination required for this seemingly simple movement involves hundreds of thousands of neural calculations, performed in milliseconds. The biomechanics of hand extension involve precise coordination between multiple muscle groups. Finger extensors must contract while flexors relax. Wrist extensors provide stability while allowing fine motor control, and proprioceptive feedback guides the movement to its intended position. The instant restoration of this complex motor program demonstrates divine access to the neural control systems that govern voluntary movement. Modern rehabilitation medicine reveals the typical timeline for nerve regeneration and motor recovery. Peripheral nerves regrow at approximately 1 millimeter per day, meaning that restoration of function in a withered hand might require months of gradual improvement. Motor learning for complex movements requires repetitive practice over weeks or months to establish stable neural patterns. The instantaneous healing bypassed these normal temporal constraints. Neuroimaging studies of motor recovery show that successful rehabilitation involves the formation of new neural networks, increased connectivity between brain regions, and enhanced efficiency of existing pathways. The withered hand miracle accomplished in seconds what modern neuroscience recognizes as months of intensive neuroplasticity-based recovery, suggesting divine acceleration of natural healing mechanisms. The social and psychological dimensions of the miracle extend beyond pure neurological restoration. The man's immediate confidence in using his restored hand indicates not just motor recovery, but the restoration of body image, motor memory, and the psychological integration necessary for natural movement. This holistic healing demonstrates that divine miracles address the complete person rather than isolated biological systems. The timing of the miracle, performed publicly in the synagogue on the Sabbath, emphasizes that divine healing operates beyond human restrictions and natural limitations, revealing God as authority over both biological systems and religious traditions that might limit expressions of his healing power. Contemporary neuroscience and regenerative medicine are achieving remarkable advances in treating neurological conditions. Yet these scientific breakthroughs often reveal the limitations of human understanding compared to the instantaneous divine healings recorded in Scripture. The harmony between advancing science and continuing miraculous healing demonstrates that God works both through natural processes and supernatural intervention. Modern treatments for conditions similar to the withered hand include nerve grafting, where healthy nerve segments are transplanted to bridge damaged areas, restoring connectivity over months of careful regeneration. Functional electrical stimulation can reactivate paralyzed muscles by providing artificial neural signals, demonstrating that the basic infrastructure for movement often remains intact even in severely impaired limbs. Advances in neuroprosthetics and brain-computer interfaces show the remarkable precision with which scientists can now decode motor intentions from brain signals and translate them into robotic movement. Patients with spinal cord injuries can control robotic arms through thought alone, revealing that the motor planning systems in the brain often remain functional even when peripheral execution is damaged. Stem cell therapies for neurological conditions offer hope for regenerating damaged neural tissue, with experimental treatments showing promising results for spinal cord injuries, stroke recovery, and neurodegenerative diseases. These approaches attempt to recreate the natural developmental processes that originally formed the nervous system, but require months or years to show significant effects. Yet even as medical science advances, documented cases of instantaneous neurological healing continue to occur in religious contexts worldwide. Medical professionals report cases of immediate restoration of function in paralyzed limbs, sudden recovery from progressive neurological diseases, and healing of conditions considered medically impossible to reverse, echoing the biblical pattern of divine healing. The field of psychoneuroimmunology reveals the complex interactions between mental states, nervous system function, and healing processes. Faith, hope, and positive expectation can measurably affect neuroplasticity, immune function, and recovery rates. This scientific understanding provides a framework for how spiritual factors might influence physical healing without explaining away the supernatural elements. Prayer and meditation have been shown to produce measurable changes in brain structure and function, activating neural networks associated with healing, reducing stress hormones that inhibit recovery, and enhancing the brain's natural neuroplasticity mechanisms. These findings suggest that spiritual practices work in harmony with natural healing processes, rather than in opposition to them. The integration of faith-based approaches with conventional medical treatment often produces superior outcomes compared to either approach alone. This synergy demonstrates that divine healing and medical science can work together, with each approach contributing unique elements to the healing process while acknowledging that ultimate healing comes from God. As we reach the culmination of our exploration into neurological healing and divine power, we must acknowledge that scientific understanding, however advanced, can only illuminate the mechanisms through which God chooses to work. It cannot fully comprehend the source of His healing power or the ultimate purposes behind miraculous restoration. The most sophisticated neuroimaging technologies can map brain activity with millisecond precision and observe neuroplasticity in real time. Yet they cannot capture the moment when divine power transforms death into life, dysfunction into wholeness, or despair into hope. The miracle of the withered hand transcends measurement because it originates from a realm beyond scientific observation, the heart of God Himself. Modern regenerative medicine attempts to recreate the conditions necessary for neural regeneration, using growth factors, stem cells, and bioengineering approaches to stimulate natural healing processes. These efforts reveal the incredible complexity of even simple healing, involving thousands of molecular interactions, precise timing of cellular responses, and coordination between multiple organ systems. The fact that God accomplishes this instantaneously demonstrates power that operates beyond natural constraints. The consciousness problem in neuroscience, understanding how subjective experience arises from neural activity, remains completely unsolved despite decades of intensive research. If science cannot explain how the brain generates consciousness, how much less can it explain how divine consciousness interfaces with human neural systems to produce miraculous healing? The withered hand healing involved not just physical restoration, but the integration of renewed function with conscious will and identity. Quantum mechanics suggests that observation can influence physical reality at the subatomic level, hinting at the fundamental role of consciousness in shaping material existence. While these discoveries don't prove divine healing, They reveal that reality is far more mysterious and consciousness-dependent than previously understood, opening possibilities for spiritual influence on physical systems that materialistic science cannot address. The placebo effect demonstrates that belief and expectation can produce measurable physical changes. Yet the healing of the withered hand occurred through faith in God rather than mere positive thinking. This distinction reveals that divine healing operates through relationship with the Creator rather than manipulation of psychological states, transcending human-centered approaches to wellness and restoration. Ultimately, the miracle of neurological healing points beyond the nervous system itself to the nature of God who created, sustains and redeems all things. The withered hand represents humanity's fallen condition, broken, dysfunctional, and unable to perform the works for which we were created. Divine healing offers not just physical restoration, but spiritual renewal, transforming us from spiritual invalids into active participants in God's kingdom purposes. The question is not whether science can explain divine healing, but whether we will recognize God as hand in both the natural processes He designed and the supernatural interventions He performs. The man's withered hand was restored not to showcase divine power alone, but to demonstrate God's compassion for human suffering and His desire to make broken things whole again. Science may describe the how, but only faith grasps the why and responds with worship to the one who heals both body and soul. Modern neuroscience maps the pathways of healing, yet cannot touch the divine mystery that transforms withered flesh into wholeness. The man's restored hand points beyond scientific explanation to the heart of God, who designed our bodies for restoration. Can our finite minds truly grasp the infinite power that speaks dead nerves back to life?